Hello drummers, Joe Garetti for the Drumming Career Course, and today we're going to talk about developing a pocket. If you want to work today, you have to have a strong pocket. Well, what is a pocket? A pocket is metronomic precision that grooves and feels musical. So how do we develop a pocket? Well, at first we develop it with a metronome. Ideally, what we want to learn how to do is play so precisely to the metronome that we make it disappear. The best drummers in the world can make that metronome just completely disappear by playing so precise onto that click that you can't even hear it. This is the ideal that we want to get. It's called burying the click. Now think about the precision. A click is a fraction of a second, and if you can play right on that fraction of a second each time, that takes an incredible amount of control. Now that's not to say that if you're not burying the click that you're not in the pocket, but you have to have rock solid time to be in the pocket. We just want to keep aiming for burying that click because that is perfection. And when you're working with the click, what you really want to have is a good understanding of the subdivisions. Subdivisions are the space that occur in between the beats. If you have a good, accurate understanding of your subdivisions, then you're going to know the exact distance to the next beat, and your time will not speed up or slow down. So we're talking about eighth notes, 16th notes, that kind of thing. Now when you're playing pocket type music, usually you're playing that either on the hi-hat or the ride cymbal, right? You're usually playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we're going to simplify to this because this is very important. Simplification, okay? The busier that you play, the harder it is to be in the pocket. You have to develop a pocket before you can try to mess it up with other things. Because if you don't have a good understanding of those subdivisions and you don't have a good pocket established, then any little intricate thing that you're going to do is going to throw off the whole feel, and it's just not going to work. So what you want to do is you want to focus on the limb that is playing in the most consistent subdivision. In most pocket music, that's probably an eighth note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you want to develop that good precise subdivision with that limb, and you want to make that limb the boss of all the other limbs. You want to focus on that limb as the timekeeper, and everything else has to fall into place. So here's a real simple exercise to help get us into the pocket. And what that we're going to do is establish the dominant limb, which will be whatever is playing the eighth note on the hi-hat. In my case, it'll be my right hand. We're going to play basic eighth notes, and then we're going to add the backbeat on 2 and 4. And make sure everything lines up. We don't want to get any flamming, so everything has to fall into line with that dominant hand. We're going to try to bury the click always, as much as we can, and maintain the strict eighth notes, and then we're going to go through these bass drum variations. And the idea is to make sure that everything falls into place. That's the goal. So you see with that exercise, I was able to, by focusing on the one limb, on that leader limb, I was able to keep everything else from running away from me. When some of those kick drum patterns got a little more maybe on the upbeat, there was maybe a tendency to want to push. But by making sure that everything falls in line with that dominant hand, it helps you regulate your foot to line up inside and help keep you in the pocket. Okay, so now that we're comfortable with establishing a dominant limb and playing everything in unison, falling together within that limb, now we're going to aim for the subdivisions, the in-between notes. These are the ones that can really affect the pocket if we don't have them absolutely precise. All right, so we're going to do 16th notes. 1 E enda, 2 E enda, 3 E enda, 4 E enda. And I'm going to do variations on my kick drum that are 16th note variations. But I want to make sure that they're falling absolutely precise. So I'm going to establish 16th notes on top with both hands. I'm going to play 1 E enda, 2 E enda, 3 E enda, 4 E enda as precisely as I can. That way I give my kick drum something to aim for. I want to aim for precision, make sure everything falls with what's happening up top, so that my kick drum isn't rushing or anything. That way later I can take out that left hand and my kick won't rush or drag or affect the beat. It'll know where to play. Okay, so now that you've played it with the 16th notes with both hands, we're going to remove the left hand 16th note and we're just going to play 8th notes with the right hand. We're going to keep on focusing on the space in between those 8th notes and being precise with the placement of the kick drum in between the 8th notes. Which should be easy now because we've lined them up in space, right? When we take it out, should be easy. Now once you get comfortable with that click and you're really sinking it in and all your limbs are lining up, that is the feeling of being in the pocket. And man, does that feel good. I recommend doing it at slower tempos because slower tempos, there's a bigger distance in between the beats, so there's more area to mess up. So you have to have strong subdivisions, really challenge yourself to really just sink everything in there so that it's really flowing, make the click disappear, and now you are truly in the pocket.